Republicans are criticizing your decision, the administration's decision to choose Nina Jankowicz to lead this disinformation board. They say she is not somebody who is neutral. Your response?
Eminently qualified, a renowned expert in the field of disinformation. Absolutely so.
Oh, Republicans are upset. No. All normal people who believe in Enlightenment values are terrified by the idea the Biden administration is trying to control what you say and think, because they're not allowed to do that. Those rights are given to you by God. Freedom of thought, freedom of conscience. Period. Well, this is Republicans, and it's not just about Nina Jankowicz, who's like a total idiot, obviously. But you never know that from watching television. Watch the administration's allies in the media.
There's been an uproar in recent days about the Department of Homeland Security setting up what they call a Disinformation Governance Board. This has been mostly a Fox World story. It could come up earlier today on CNN State of the Union, but I don't think people know what it is and what it isn't. And there's just been a lot of right-wing uproar without knowing what it is.
Being a stronger advocate to tech companies and engaging the public and academia, that's really what they're after.
But hold on, that sounds like common sense. But when I Google this, all I see is like Joe Biden's Ministry of Truth, and they're going to steal. There's this incredible backlash to something that sounds like basic government bureaucracy.
Yeah, it sounds like common sense. The government gets to decide what you're allowed to think about news stories. You're not allowed to take the facts in and reach your own decisions because you're not an adult. You're a serf in a country where the people who are in charge decide what you believe. So if that doesn't bother you, maybe you deserve a show at CNN. They're not interested in looking more into the person running all of this, Nina Jankowicz, so we took a closer look, and we found that throughout the COVID pandemic, this will not shock you, Nina Jankowicz, far from fighting disinformation, toadied up the government of China. And she assured you that, no, the virus didn't originate in a lab in Wuhan. No! In fact, she criticized the intel community for looking into that possibility. She said it gave credence to, quote, conspiracy theorists. Of course, it turned out to be almost certainly true. Then this Nina Jankowicz, this world-renowned expert, went on the record to support government control over what you're allowed to say. Watch.
I shudder to think about if free speech absolutists were taking over more platforms, what that would look like for the marginalized communities all around the world, which are already shouldering so much of this abuse, disproportionate amounts of this abuse, and re-traumatizing themselves as they try to protect themselves from it, reporting, blocking, etc. We need the platforms to do more, and we frankly need law enforcement and our legislatures to do more as well. And in other countries, they're looking at this. The UK has an online safety bill that's being considered right now where they're trying to make illegal this currently, quote, awful but lawful content that exists online where people are being harassed.
So here we have another entitled white lady telling you that you're racist if you disagree with her. But of course, it has nothing to do with race. If it did, she'd be deeply worried about how people in Baltimore are living, but none of them care. What they really care about is making sure you can never criticize the people they work for. And you should know that. You should have clear eyes on that. Sean Davis does, CEO of the Federalist. He joins us tonight. Sean, thanks so much for coming on. You wonder if we allow the Biden administration to cross this line, then are there any lines left to cross?
Well, I don't think so, especially when you look at what happened in 2020, because I think what they're actually setting up at DHS here is the full run of their control of information. In 2020, they did a test run with the Hunter Biden laptop. And all these former corrupt spooks came out and said, oh, it's Russian disinformation, which was a lie. And then they peddled that to the tech companies. And then the tech companies dutifully banned anyone who talked about the Hunter Biden laptop from being on the internet. And what this new office does is just give them the ability to launder that fake news, except do it anonymously. These idiots don't have to go and sign a letter with their names on it anymore. They just get to whisper over to Scary Poppins, the government propaganda nanny, and she'll take care of it for them.
But I've been brooding on this all weekend. She's so self-evidently ridiculous and so self-discrediting that you think, oh, they made a huge mistake. They're so dumb they put this woman in charge. But maybe they did that so you wouldn't realize this is a law enforcement official who works for the biggest law enforcement agency in the country with stockpiles of ammo to the tune of millions of rounds a year, controlling what you say. So maybe because she's so absurd, you won't be afraid?
Yeah, I mean, she's almost a caricature of a Looney Tune left-winger who knows everything and yet nothing at the same time. But I mean, look at what DOJ did last year. They sent out a memo calling a bunch of parents who were concerned about nut job school boards terrorists. So you look at that, you combine it with what DHS is doing. We all know what they're doing. We all know what they're doing, and we can all see it.
Yeah, I mean, they arrested a guy for putting memes on Twitter they didn't like, and no one defended him because he had creepy views about things. But it doesn't matter if you've got creepy views. If you're an American, you have a right to say what you think, period. I thought. You're not, really quick, do you have a right to say what you think as an American, period?
Yes, yes, and to say otherwise is un-American.
Amen. Sean Davis.